Trump is tweeting this morning about the presidential election in France this Sunday. Here's what he says. Another terrorist attack in Paris. The people of France will not take much more of this. Will have a big effect on the presidential election. John Fund is with us. He's with the National Review. What effect on the election from this terror attack? What do you think, John?
I was in France last month, and what's very clear is ISIS and Islamic terrorists actually wouldn't mind Marine Le Pen doing well in the presidential election. They're all about a clash of civilizations. They want a confrontation between the West and between their forces. So they hope, I think, by doing this, to encourage people who want to crack down on immigration, who want to increase tensions in France between the immigrant population and the French people in general.
Well, I'm sure you've heard the news this morning. Marine Le Pen, the nationalist candidate, we had her on the screen a moment ago, she says she would like to expel all terror suspects. We've been saying earlier on the program that is a very big deal. That is a really radical plan. What do you make of it?
Well, that is in line with what she's been saying in the campaign. That would set up the clash, the divisions, the divisiveness that the terrorists want. Obviously, there has to be security. Obviously, this is the 6th attack in 3 years. The French have done until now a miserable job integrating their immigrant population. They've also done a mediocre job in security until recently. But this is precisely what the terrorists want to do. They want to affect the election.
Well, will it work, John?
It's basically...
I mean, is it going to push voters towards Marine Le Pen?
Well, it didn't happen in the Netherlands, and there was a lot of controversy with the Turks accusing the Dutch of racism and injecting themselves in the campaign in April there. It didn't work there. I think the average voter tends not to operate glandulally. They tend not to operate on last-minute events. They've probably already made up their mind, or they don't want to be pushed into something by outsiders, and that's what this is.
I'm surprised to hear you say that, because France has had 21 attacks in the last 2 years, and there are 230 dead. French people live in fear on a daily basis. I think they've had it up to here, and this latest attack, I think it will propel voters toward Marine Le Pen. Would you disagree with that?
Yes, because there's an alternative if you want security. François Fillon is a former prime minister. He has made security a major part of his campaign. Le Pen is not the only answer to the French who feel insecure. In fact, remember, she has no real experience in government. She has no real experience in security policy. So Marine Le Pen is a great talker, but is she a good doer? A lot of people, I think, will vote for Fillon, the conservative fan of Margaret Thatcher. That should be a candidate you should be looking at, Stuart.
Well, yes, I would approve, yes, but given the terror situation, I can only imagine how the average French person must feel in France. Go on.
He has, as a former prime minister, Fillon presided over a time when France had far more of a grip on security. It was only after he left office that these terrorist attacks began. I'm not saying they're directly linked, but he has a good record on security as well as a good record on economics, and Marine Le Pen is a statist, as you know.
God forbid that we have Marine Le Pen versus the communist candidate, because then all bets are off, John. I think you'd agree with that.
No, all rich people leave the country.
Yes, and a lot of other people too, probably. And the dollar goes straight up and the euro goes straight down, and Europe is finished. If that were the runoff election a couple of months from now, all hell breaks loose. You agree with that?
Well, that's why there should be an option of none of the above on the ballot in such races.
Okay, John Fund, thanks. You're right. Thanks very much for joining us, John. We'll see you next week and see what happens on Sunday. Thank you.